This conference will now be recorded.
Hi guys, in this particular class we are going to be working with a topic called as tax determination, which is going to be the integration of three different modules put together. It's going to be integration of FI with MM and SD. So this is going to be the concept where we normally use it to calculate the taxes. Okay. So this is used to calculate taxes when sales is performed, as well as when you're trying to work out with the procurement process. When we talk about this taxation, we know that there are going to be basically two types of taxes to work on. One, we call it as an input tax, and second one is going to be addressed as output tax. Now, what is the difference between input and output? So input tax is going to be coming into the picture when there is anything related to the procurement process carried out, that is nothing but buying. When company is trying any purchase or any products from the vendor, then your vendor is going to be collecting the tax amount. So we call it as an input tax. So when the transaction is done between company and the vendor. Whereas output tax is going to be coming into the picture when sales is done, when the transaction is done between customer and the company. Company will be selling the product to the customer. In that case, what happens? Company will be collecting the tax amount from the customer. And whatever tax amount is going to be collected or paid by the company cannot be shown under revenues or reductions, nothing like that. Whatever the tax amount we are going to be collecting it, need to pay to the government. Okay, so tax amount cannot be consumed by any of the company. It need to be paid to the government. Now, how this taxation is going to be carried out over here? Like, what are going to be the configuration steps required for activating your tax at the time of sales is what we are going to be discussing it over here. Because on which product, how much amount need to be collected as a tax, that will be provided by the financing, and your tax percentage needs to be activated when a sales transaction is done. So for this, let me show you the configuration steps required. So there are going to be some configuration steps which need to be performed from the finance module. Okay, so it's going to be the integration of FI with SD, what I'm going to be discussing it, where there are going to be certain configurations need to be executed up from the finance side. So let me start showing you the configuration for that. If you get into SPRO, IMG, and under IMG, it's going to be the part of your financial accounting new. So get into financial accounting new. Get into financial accounting global settings new. Over here, that's going to be the one, taxes on sales and purchases. So when you expand this taxes on sales and purchases, that's going to be the first step, basic settings. So expand this basic settings, calculation procedure. So I'm not going to be discussing in detail how to go for working out with the condition type, access sequence. I'm just going to be giving you some knowledge because these activities are going to be the part of your finance module. So if you click on this IMG activity, click calculation procedure, this is how the screen will be looking. So if you want to define any tax condition types, this would be the place where you go for defining of it. Now see, if you double click on it, so these are going to be the tax condition types provided in finance module. So we require basically two condition types. One is used for output tax and second one for the input tax. Now for the output tax, we use a condition type called as MWAI over here, where MWAI stands for output tax. So if you select this condition type and get into details, make sure you try to activate all these things, where for each and every condition type, there should be an access sequence maintained so that you can go for activation of condition records. And I'm trying to classify this condition type as a tax condition type. And your taxes need to be calculated based on percentage. So we activated calculation type by rule A over here. And Where exactly you want this tax condition type need to be displayed in the document. Always make sure it is activated at item condition. These are the three important fields you need to check it out when you're trying to work out with the condition types. Okay, that's going to be the first condition type we are going to be focusing on. So condition type used for output tax from the finance side is going to be MWAI, which stands for output tax. And for this, you need to make sure you need to assign an access sequence. MWSD, these are all going to be the standards. I'm not trying to create anything related to the customized one. In case if you are trying to practice, you can go for creating your customized one, copying it from the standard. So make sure for this, there are going to be certain settings over here. Condition category need to be activated as D, where D stands, condition class. So condition class need to be activated as D, where D stands for taxes. We are trying to classify this condition type as a tax condition type and followed by calculation type. So calculation type, I'm going to be activating it as rule A. I'm going to be calculating it based on percentage over here. And plus and minus, you can leave this one as blank. That means it's going to be a positive effect. And make sure item conditions are going to be checked over here. We are going to be activating this condition type at item level. These are the settings you need to perform. So if you want to create your own access sequence, also you can. Now, if you just come back over here, this would be the place where you go for defining of your access sequence. So if you double click on it, table is a cross client fine. Simply click on continue. Click on position and choose your access sequence, which is going to be MWSD. If you want to check out what all tables has been assigned to this access sequence, select this access sequence and click on accesses under dialog structure. So there's going to be the table which has been maintained. Tax classification. And we call this table as a standard table. Because if your table number is above 500, we call it as a customized one. If your table number is below 500, we call it as a standard. And make sure you assign all the fields maintained in this table to our access sequence. For that, you need to select your table and do the field mapping as well. So double click on it. So these are the two fields which has been maintained, country and tax code, which has been assigned to this particular access sequence. In the same way, if you just come back, define condition type. I'm just trying to show you what is going to be the tax condition type used for input tax. So click on position, MWVI. There's going to be the tax condition type. If you select this condition type and get into details. So for this condition type, you can see same access sequence has been assigned, and these are the contours for that. We're trying to classify this one as a tax condition type, and we are going to be calculating it based on percentage. And once again, you're going to be activating at item condition level itself. Okay, so same thing. So there's going to be the next condition, MWVI, which stands for input tax. And all the settings are going to be same for that as well. There is no changes. Now, once you prepare your access sequence condition type, we need to make sure this condition type is activated in our procedure. So we need to go for working out with your taxation procedure. Now, here I'm going to be using one of the standard taxation procedure. So where I'm going to be taking my reference tax procedure called as tax ID. I'm going to be taking this one as a reference from which I'm going to be copying the data. Tax ID is a taxation procedure provided for Italy. There's a taxation procedure maintained for Italy. So I'm going to be taking this one as a reference, copy, rename it, and try to create our own taxation procedure for that. Okay, so take this one as a reference. You need to copy and create tax procedure, where I'm going to be creating it, let's say on the name of YAXINN. So there's going to be the tax procedure which I'm trying to create it for India. And in this particular taxation procedure, I need to make sure these two condition types are maintained. And always your tax amount is going to be calculated on the base value. So those settings also need to be activated in your taxation procedure. Now see, so I'm just trying to do that. If you just come back, define procedures. Now, if you click on position, select taxation procedure, tax IT. So this is going to be the standard procedure. Okay, we don't have a standard procedure maintained for India. So if you want to check out what all condition types has been maintained for this procedure, select it, click on control data. You can see. So on base amount, there are two specific condition types which has been assigned. Output taxes is going to be calculated on base amount. Input taxes also will be calculated on base amount. And for both the condition types, there is an account key which has been assigned. So we need to create our own account keys as well. This is very much important. Okay, so I'm going to be taking this one as a reference, copy, rename it, and create our own taxation procedure. So if you just come back, so select this procedure, click on copy. I'm just trying to create it on the name of YAXIN. So which stands for Sales Tax India. Enter. I want to copy all the dependent entries. Click on copy all. Number of entries copied 7, fine. Click on continue. Number of entries copied. So there's going to be the taxation procedure. I'm going to be using it and save it. So I'm just trying to use a new request for this tax determination. Done. So that's my procedure, where in this procedure, I made sure both the condition types has been activated. MWAI, which stands for output tax, MWVI, which stands for input tax. Okay. The next thing which we need to be aware of, how these account keys are going to be configured. Because FI team will be creating these account keys, and to these account keys, we are going to be allocating your GL accounts. So here we have created this one, and make sure you're going to be assigning condition types over here. So we made sure both the condition types, MWAI, which stands for output tax, and MWVI, which stands for input tax, has been maintained up over here. Now, to work out with your account keys, how you go for it. So we have a specific transaction code for this. Let me show you. All these 3 steps has been completed. Now, if you get into OBCN transaction code, so there's a place where you can go for creation of your account keys. To define account keys, I'm just trying to maintain the transaction code OBCN. Okay, where 2 account keys has been maintained up. So these are going to be the one. MWS stands for output tax. VST stands for input tax. Okay, now see. So if you click on position, process MWS, which stands for output tax. If you get into details of this, there are some specifications maintained. We are going to be classifying this account key, use it for output tax. And posting indicators need to be activated by rule 2, separate line item. In the same way, if you are trying to work out with VST, for VST stands for input tax. And if you get into details, description has been maintained as an input tax. We are trying to classify it as an input tax account key, and posting indicator once again need to be activated by rule 2, separate line item. Okay, so make sure you're going to be working out with these 2 account keys. And now once you have done with your account keys creations, you need to basically get into a transaction code called as OB40. Okay, now what exactly you do over there? So if you get into OB40, we need to allocate a GL account for your tax amount need to be getting posted up. In this particular screen, I'm just trying to show you. If you look for MWS, which stands for output tax. Okay, if you get into details, you need to activate chart of accounts, get into this particular screen, and you need to assign GL account against what? Your tax code. So how system will be picking up the tax amount? From the tax code. So you need to be aware of how to go for designing of these tax codes as well. How much tax amount is going to be collected? Okay, those are the topics what we are going to be discussing it. So here, first thing, how you go for defining of your tax codes over here. So to define tax code, we take the help of transaction code FTXP. Define tax codes. Now, if you want to define tax code, first thing, once you define your procedure, we need to make sure this procedure is assigned to your country. So that's going to be another important thing you need to be aware of. So you need to assign tax procedure to country. So this will be executed using a transaction code OWG. That's going to be the step. You need to assign taxation procedure to country. So if you get into OWG, or you can click on this activity, assign country to calculation procedure, select country, position, IN. To IN, we need to assign the procedure what we have created it. So I've created our procedure on the name of YAXINN. So I'm going to be assigning it over here. Okay, and save it. Now, once you're done with this particular activity, now go for creation of your tax codes. So if you get into FTXP transaction code, FTXP. So for which country you want to maintain the tax codes, maintain that country, click on enter. And this how the screen will be looking. So you can go for defining a tax code. Now let's say I'm going to be creating it on the name of A0. Always remember, if anything starting with A represents sales, if anything starting with B represent input taxes. A stands for output tax, B stands for input tax. So maintain your tax code as A0, click on enter, maintain the description for that. We call it as an output tax over here. I'm trying to classify this tax type as A, output tax. Maintain it and click on enter. So this is going to be the screen. So whatever the taxation procedure we are trying to work it out is going to be displayed. So there is no direct link between tax code and taxation procedure. The link is getting established with the help of country. To country we have assigned procedure, to country we are trying to assign tax code. And you can see in this taxation procedure, whatever condition types we have activated will be displayed. So for output tax, we have a condition type maintain MWAI. For this, I'm going to be maintaining the tax percentage as 5%. And when a transaction is done, this 5% amount is going to be updated to the GL account assigned to this accounting key MWS. So maintain this setting over here and try to save it. In the same way, if you want to fix up the tax percentage for input taxes, you just need to go for creating your tax code for input taxes as well. Done. So in the same way, just try to create V0, click on enter. Just a second. FTXP, country is going to be IN. Sorry. Okay, just maintain it as an input tax over here. I'm trying to classify it as P. Okay, which stands for input tax. Now, once you click on enter, maintain. So for input tax, we use this condition type MWEI, where I'm trying to maintain 5%. Activate it and save it. So we have created our tax codes. So this is the step what we have done. So creation of tax code A0, which is used for output tax, V0, which is used for input tax. Now once you're done with this particular step, you can go for account posting as well. So let me maintain this way. That's going to be your second step. And this is going to be your third step. Account posting. Now, if you get into OB40 transaction, so there's going to be the screen. So here for output tax MWS against A0, your tax code, you need to allocate HCL account. Okay. In the same way, if you're trying to work out with VST, where VST stands for input tax. For VST, maintain chart of accounts and make sure you're going to be assigning HCL account. So if you want this one, I'm just going to be changing it. Posting keys 40 and 50 accounts. Activate it, save it. Now again tax code. So I'm maintaining it as 1,54,000. Okay. So these GL accounts are going to be provided everything by your finance team. So I'm not showing you how to go for creation of GL accounts. FS00 is the T code for that. Okay. So make sure you assign your account numbers in this particular OB40 screen. So these are the configuration steps required from the finance side. Okay, make sure you are trying to work out with these two condition types, MWAI, MWVI. Then go for creating of your taxation procedure, where I've created it on the name of YAXINN. And in this particular procedure, you need to make sure both the condition types are activated up. And once you have created your taxation procedure, make sure you're going to be assigning your taxation procedure using transaction code OBBG. And once you have created, if you want to go for working out with the account keys, so we create this account keys and we assign this account keys to the condition types maintained in your taxation procedure. So MWS, VST are going to be the two account keys. And then go for creation of your tax code, one for input tax, one for output tax. Then allocate the GL accounts for your tax codes. For A0, we have allocated 1,75,000 as my GL account. For V0, I have allocated 1,54,000 as my GL account. These are the settings required for the finance side. Now coming into SD configuration steps. Now what all settings you need to be performing it. So if we get into SPR now, IMG, and the sales and distribution, get into basic functions. And under this basic functions, we are working out taxes. So expand this taxes, define tax determination rule. There's going to be the first step. That's going to be our first step. Define tax determination rules over here. Now here, if you click on this IMG activity, now make sure against your country, there is going to be a tax condition type which need to be assigned. So click on position, select country as IN. For India, there's going to be the tax condition type MWST, which stands for output tax. Maintain sequence as one, MWST. OVK1 is going to be the transaction code for this. So against country IN, we are going to be assigning tax category as MWST. There's going to be activity what we have done it. By default, it's going to be available. In case if it is not available in the system, take the help of new entries and maintain the sequence number as one. So this one will be displayed as first condition type in your customer master or material master. Once you're done with this, come back. There's going to be the second step, assign delivering plan for tax determination. So always your taxes are going to be calculated based on plant location and customer location. Remember this particular point, the most important thing. So in interviews, they try to focus how taxes are going to be calculated. Always your taxes are going to be calculated based on plant and customer location. So if you click on this IMG activity, select your plant with which you are trying to work it out. So let's say this is my plant LGP1. Get into details, or you can simply get into address tab as well. So get into address tab and make sure you assign the right country and the region. Right country and the region over here. Okay, so these are the two important fields because your taxes are going to be calculated based on this. Activate it. That's going to be done using transaction code OX10 over here. Assign delivering plan for tax determination. This is going to be your second step. Assign delivery plan for tax determination. OX10. Okay. Check out the entries maintained for your plant. Now, third step over here is going to be define tax relevancy of master records. If you click on it, click on customer taxes. We need to activate tax condition at customer master level as well as at material master level. So click on this activity, customer taxes, and against tax category MWST. So there are going to be two entries which need to be maintained. One is going to be tax exempt. Second one is going to be liable for taxes. There are going to be chances where sometimes we don't collect any tax amount from our customer. So in that case, it's going to be tax exempt. So make sure these two conditions are maintained. One represent liable for tax, zero represent tax exempt. So that's going to be the next one. So at customer master level, make sure these two entries are maintained. MWST 0 and 1. OVK3 is the T code for this, customer taxes, not customer master, customer taxes, transaction code, OVK3. In the same way, for material taxes also, activate it. So here, let me show you. If you just come back, material taxes, OVK4 is the transaction code for this. Just make a note of all the transaction codes. OVK4. Now here, click on position once again, select your tax category as MWST, where these three settings need to be maintained. No tax, full tax, half rate tax, and in case low rate tax as well. Make sure these four classifications are maintained. Select it and maintain it. In case if these standards are not available in the system, take the help of new entries and make sure you activate it. Okay. Apart from this, you need to go for defining of your condition type, access sequence, condition tables, everything. So I'm just trying to show you the standards. So if you're trying to work out with the condition type, so for this, you take the help of a transaction code called as V/06, where we define our pricing condition types, and look for a condition type called as MWST, which stands for output tax. And for this, we need to assign access sequence, MWST, and we need to maintain certain conditions. For that, condition classification need to be activated as T, which stands for taxes, and followed by calculation type. So calculation type, I'm going to be selecting it as A. We are going to be calculating the taxes based on percentage. Okay, so condition category. So condition category need to be activated as D itself, which stands for taxes. And we calculate this tax conditions at what level? Item conditions level. So make sure this item conditions is going to be activated. So I'm just trying to show you the same thing. If you get into V/06, click on position, select your condition type MWST, which represent output tax. If you select this condition type, get into details. You can see access sequence MWST has been assigned, condition class D, calculation type A, condition category D, plus or minus positive, and we are trying to classify this one as item condition. And you need to make sure this field is activated. Not possible to process manually, manual entries. You cannot enter or you cannot activate your taxes manually. By default, the value need to be copied from the record, not processed manually. All the settings need to be activated up. And make sure you're going to be maintaining this particular condition type in pricing procedure. So which is going to be done using transaction code V/08. So in case if you're trying to work out with the customized one, make sure in your customized one, this condition type is activated. So I'm just trying to show you. If you get into V/08, where we define our pricing procedure. So here I have my own pricing procedure created. Oh, I don't have my, yeah, that's the one. If you select this particular procedure and get into details of it. So here, I made sure that condition type is activated, and you need to insert this condition type before total, because this tax amount is going to be calculated on net value. So when you're trying to insert this condition type in the pricing procedure, you need to activate it as a required entry. I want that value need to be printed in the output, and requirement need to be activated by routine 10. So there is a dependent entry maintained for this condition type. Plant is set. Plant is set is nothing but we need to make sure in our sales document, plant information is active. If your plant is active, then only taxes will be calculated, otherwise no. And we need to assign condition based value by routine number 16. So this is going to be nothing but a routine which is used to calculate your tax amount on net value. And accounting key need to be allocated as MWS, which stands for output tax. Now, whatever the accounting key you are seeing in this pricing procedure, this account keys are going to be configured by sales consultant. Okay. So we need to do the configuration for account keys condition type procedure once again from the sales part. So as soon as you try to maintain this condition type, click on enter, system will give you one pop-up message. Now see, so system will give you one pop-up message. What all settings need to be activated for your output taxes? You need to just specify that information over here. My system is a little bit slow. That's the reason it's taking some time. You can see for this particular condition type, it need to be activated as a required entry, requirement 10, condition based value 16, accounting key, MWS. You just need to follow this information message and make sure all settings are activated. And save this one. So that's going to be the next step. So assign tax condition type and pricing procedure. That's going to be the one. So MWST stands for output tax. We need to activate it as a mandatory entry. I want that value need to be printed. So activate this print option as well. Then you need to maintain requirement. So requirement need to be maintained by routine number 10. But 10 stands for plan test set. The same way, activate condition base value by routine number 16 and followed by account key for this, where account key need to be activated as MWS. So these are the settings maintained for this particular condition type. Okay. Now, once done with this, now next step we need to define account key. In case if there is no standard account key, you need to go for defining of it. Define account keys over here. So where you go for defining of this account keys. So if you want to define it, it's going to be the part of your revenue account determination. So under SPRO, IMG, get into sales and distribution, basic functions, revenue account determination, account assignment and the costing, revenue account determination under that. And here you can see an option, define and assign account keys. So click on this IMG activity. That's a place where you go for defining of account keys. And always account key is going to be of 3 letters, which can be alphanumerical combination. So if you click on position, this is going to be the standard account key. Use it for output taxes, MWS, taxes on sales and purchases. So once you define it, you can assign this account key in our existing pricing procedure against a condition type. Okay. So this is a step where you go for defining of your account keys. And if you want to work out with assign, select this option, assign account keys. So whatever pricing procedure we are trying to work on, select that pricing procedure in this particular screen. So click on position, select your pricing procedure. Okay, 1 second. This is my pricing procedure where you can see condition types has been maintained. And for output tax, this account key, I'm going to be assigning it. So you can assign an account key over here or there, vice versa. Now, once you're done with this particular step, so we need to allocate a GL account for your account key. So that's going to be the next step, assign GL accounts. So once you define account keys, you need to assign account keys. Then you need to work out with account determination as well. So for output taxes, I'm going to be working out with a GL account called as 1,75,000. So when a transaction is done, the tax amount is going to be posted against this particular GL account. So GL accounts configuration, everything is going to be taken care by your finance guys. So if you get into VKOA transaction code, you can go for activation of it. That's going to be the one, assign GL accounts, click on it. So select using which table you are trying to update the accounts. And this is how the screen will be looking. So take the help of new interest and go for activation of it. Where application need to be selected as B, where B stands for sales and distribution. KOFI is going to be the condition type. Chart of accounts, I'm working out with INT, sales organization, account assignment group of customer. So where I'm trying to maintain it as domestic revenues. Account assignment group of material, I'm going to be representing as in finished products. Account key, MWS, and GL account, 1,75,000. That's going to be the GL account. If you want to maintain it for your trading goods revenue as well, 01. For this, it's going to be 01 over here. Account assignment group of material, trading goods. Accounting key, MWS, maintain it, and try to save it. Okay, so this is what you need to do. So whenever a transaction is done, output tax amount is collected, that amount is going to be posted again this particular GL account. So we're done with this particular steps. Now, once you're done with all the configuration steps, now we need to go for activation of taxes in customer master as well as in material master. So if we get into customer master, XG02, I'm just trying to work out with the existing customer, XG02, pick up your customer number, maintain the required sales area over here. And where do you activate taxes in that? This is my customer record, maintain the required sales area. If you get into details, in customer master, sales area data, get into billing tab. So this is the place where we are going to be maintaining taxes, whether your customer is going to be liable for tax or not. So make sure you're activated by rule 1. Customer is going to be liable for taxes. In the same way, you need to activate this taxes in our material master as well. So if you pick up your product, get into MM02 or MM03, pick up any particular product. So that's my product. Select the views, make sure you're going to be selecting this particular view, sales organization 1, because this is the view in which we maintain tax classification. Maintain the required organizational units, details. Under sales organization 1, you need to make sure this tax tab is activated. And here I'm maintaining tax full tax. I'm going to be collecting full tax amount from my customer for this particular product sale. So maintain this information in customer master as well as in material master. And now go for maintenance of our condition records. So if you get into week 11, so there's going to be the final step. Before that, activate taxes in customer master and material master. Now, where do you activate in customer master? In customer master, you need to basically get into sales area data, and under sales area data, we need to work out with the billing tab. Whereas in material master, you need to work out with sales organization 1 view. Whether your customer is going to be liable for tax or material is liable for tax, you need to activate it. Now, once you activate this one, now see, go for maintenance of condition records. That's going to be the final step. So we try to maintain it using transaction code VK11 over here, condition record maintenance. So if you get into VK11, maintain for which condition type you want to activate the records. Click on key combination, tables are going to be getting displayed. So select table called as domestic taxes. Select this particular table, click on continue, and this half the screen will be looking. So for which country? Country IN, and first field is going to be the tax classification maintained in our customer master, activated by MWST1. The customer is going to be liable for tax, maintained by rule 1. Second one is going to be the tax classification in material master. So in material master, activate it as 1, full tax. For this particular combination, 1 and 1, 1 in customer master, 1 in material master, maintain the tax code. So tax code is going to be A0. Okay, sales guys will be not fixing up the tax amount. The tax amount is going to be getting fetched from the finance team. So we have created one tax code. In that tax code, we have specified what should be the amount need to be collected as taxes. So maintain that tax code over here, and once you click on enter, the tax amount is going to be getting copied up. You can see 5%, and maintain the validity period for this. Valid from, valid to, and save this particular record. So when a transaction is done, by default, your tax amount is going to be copied as 5%. Now see, if you go for creating an order, this is nothing but your testing to check whether the tax amount has been calculated properly or not. So just try to record one of the transactions. So that's my customer. So once you click on enter, ship to party is going to be getting copied. Maintain our product information. So that's going to be the product order quantity. Now, if you get into item data, there are going to be a few things we need to check it out properly. Just click on confirmation. If you double click on this line item, under item data, first thing get into shipping tab and check whether your plant has been copied up or not. That's the first thing. Now, if you get into conditions tab, check out your taxes has been activated up or not. So once you maintain your selling price, I'm just trying to activate my selling price over here. Now you can see tax amount has been copied as 5%. Now, for example, in your sales order, if this plant is missing, what happens? First of all, your shipping point is not going to be getting determined. The shipping point is going to be totally based on your plant. And if you get into conditions, you can see there is no tax condition type as well. In case if you are trying to enter this tax condition manually, there's going to be the message, no condition records. Already we maintain the records, our system is not going to be reading it. Because in our condition type controls, we have activated it as manual process is not possible. Cannot be processed manually. There's a setting which has been maintained now. So always the value need to be copied from our condition record for this. Okay. So always make sure in your sales order, plant information is active. If you maintain your plant, everything is going to be getting copied up. Shipping point has been determined. If you get into conditions tab, taxes are calculated as well. Okay, so this is how you go for calculating the taxes, which is going to be the integration of SD with FI. So these configurations need to be done from FI side. You need to create a condition type on taxation procedure, account keys, tax codes, and to that tax codes, GL accounts also need to be specified. And from SD configuration, you need to create tax determination procedure. We need to make sure to our plant, country, region, everything is maintained. Customer taxes need to be worked out. Material taxes need to be worked out. We need to create one condition type. To that condition type, all settings need to be activated up. To that condition type, we need to insert it in our existing pricing procedure and maintain the required entries for that. We need to create an account key, assign account key, work out with your account determination, activate taxes in customer master and material master. Then maintain condition records and finally perform a test. Perform test in sales document to check whether tax amount has been copied, activate or copied automatically or not. VS01. Okay, so this is a concept of your tax determination in sales and distribution.